Hey everyone, Byron Schrog here. Congratulations, you just bought you a pack of these new Vacation Sooner Quadfolds. I think you're going to be super excited about them. Let me just tell you a little bit about how this came about. In the sales cycle is when people are sharing this information and talking to find prospective customers, members, representatives. What takes place and happens is a lot of times people are using the push play video. Sometimes they're scratching stuff out on a piece of paper. Maybe even using some kind of slides on a computer. The problem is those situations sometimes are kind of bulky and they're just not very conducive to communicate the information. So several months ago, we piloted this trifold, or this quadfold I should say, that you guys have. And this quadfold is a very simple, easy way to explain what the value of our membership is, and also if people want to know how the representative component works, you also can go through that. So I think you're going to find these exciting. We're going to go through some of the information here, exactly how I go through it, what we've tested. The top leaders in the company have been testing this. They've got some fantastic results. It's very simple, it's very quick, and you're going to be excited about it. So stay tuned, because we're going to go through this. Okay, here's what we're going to do now, guys. We're going to go through actually the process of how to use this effectively. A couple ground rules I want to talk about very quickly. The first thing is one of the reasons that this was put together was because the invitation process sometimes is very difficult. A lot of people are trying to invite to a restaurant, a hotel, whatever it might be. And when they invite their friends to come to this, they ask lots of questions. So sometimes it'll be easier just to meet with them on an individual basis. And this tool is designed for that. Sometimes when you go meet with them, the video just isn't very effective because it feels weird when you're sitting in a coffee shop and you have your friend watch a video. Or you've got a slideshow you're trying to go through, or you're trying to scratch something down on a piece of paper and it's just not working. So some of the motivations behind this quadfold was specifically to create duplication and create an opportunity for the ideas to flow very easily. And so so I want to go through the information here, and I'm going to there's a couple questions I want people to ask. I'm going to make a note of those as we go through that. But the first thing that's taken place and happened is, you've went through your three-step setup. You can go watch a quick coach video that specifically is going to go through that. But the three-step setup, you've set it up, and somebody knows now that we've got an exclusive travel club, and we're going to go through that. And so the most important thing that I try to do in the very beginning is I want to create engagement. So I want to ask them the question. I say, look, we've got a club, and we've got some amazing deals in the travel industry, and I want you to look at these trips. So I'm going to have them read through them. And as they read through them, I'm really just after one component. I want them to ask me the question, how do you get those prices? Or those trips look like they're amazing. And so specifically, I'm looking for that question. And so they're going to go through this. They look at it. I just give you an example. I did one yesterday. The guy looks at the information. He goes, look, I've stayed at the Gaylord Palms in Orlando, and $189 for 4 days and 3 nights per person. That's a pretty amazing price on the trip to stay at the property. And it also includes a park hopper pass, which he said the park hopper pass alone almost covers that price. So he said, how do you do that? Well, I said, let me show you how we do that, and then we flip to the next page. All right, and so what I'm going to talk about is our whole concept is how you help somebody vacation sooner, and this is what we got good at doing, is helping people do that. It's done through several different components, and so I'm going to walk through those very quickly. I'm not going to take a lot of time on them, but the first thing obviously is the exclusive pricing because of our membership club. And basically what I want to talk to them about here is it's a membership versus a margin. In the travel industry, most travel companies make all their money based on a margin, not based on a membership. Ours is a club. We make all the money on a membership. We pass the savings because of that on to the member. And so that's how we're getting the pricing, is because we're not trying to make money on a markup. We're making our money on people being part of the club as a company. So that's point number one. Point number two, our VIP experience. You can go on a trip, and if the trip is a great price, but the food's bad, there's mold in the room, there's all kinds of problems, it doesn't matter what you pay, you still don't like the trip. So what our club is really good at is the experience that we get our members when they go. And there's lots of different, each trip has a different kind of experience, but there's a lot of things that are similarities on each one. A lot of the trips are hosted, which means the host goes on a trip and the host's job is to make sure your experience is A+. When you have somebody that knows the best restaurant to go to, they know the places not to go, they know how to solve problems for you, it makes a big difference and enhances the experience. And then also when there's all kinds of extras tied to the trip, it might be there's excursions, it might be the transfers to and from the destination. There's all kinds of extras that are added. They're not all the same. It could be some of them have a pillow gift in the room. Each of our trips outlines specifically what that is, but we create a VIP experience, and that's what keeps people coming back. Now, when we get to point number 3 on here, point number 3 is where it gets a little more compelling, because obviously to join the club, there's a fee to join the club. We have an upfront fee, we have a monthly fee, and so let's talk about how that works. And so if I talk about the gold membership here, the gold membership, it costs $200 or $199.99, and that is a one-time cost. But what's interesting about that is we take that, we turn that into a point system, and we move that over into what we call a rewards account. That rewards account, what it does is that 1 point and $1 are the same. So what you have now is you have 200 reward points in here. Those reward points can be reapplied back towards the price, which now lowers the price even more. Each trip has specific reward points that could be used on them. They're all different, but the point of this is you get to reuse your membership money again on taking additional vacations. Now, the monthly fee that's paid on the gold membership is basically $50 a month. The same thing that happens, that goes over here into the rewards account, and that goes right back over here to apply towards the price to lower that. Now, those points aren't available until 12 months in on your anniversary date. Those become available. So if you paid a monthly fee for 12 months, you'd have 600 points that would go in that account on your anniversary date. Those become available now that you can book a dream trip with. And once again, those points apply. There's a certain amount of points that apply to each trip. You saw that on some of the pictures earlier. Now, the next part I want to talk about here is the earned vacation component, and this is where all of a sudden we start setting ourselves apart. If you can just kind of, the idea of going on a vacation is one thing, paying for a vacation is another, getting a great deal on one, but what if you could earn the vacation? Literally create the opportunity on things you might normally already do and spend money on, which we'll talk about. Or you could refer some other customers to this. You might have some friends that want to go on and be a member with you and go on a dream trip. And let's just say that they did that. And what would take place here is you get 100 referral points. And those referral points, remember, 1 point, $1 are the same. That would go into this rewards account, and then that can be reapplied then to lower the price. So let's just say over the next year that you would refer 5 people. They became customers and members of the club. They just want to take vacations. There may be some of your friends that like to travel and have a good time. All right, now all of a sudden we've got $500 or 500 points, because 1 point, $1 are the same. The points are converted over here. You get to reapply for referring some people just to buy the membership. And you can see these are based on, if they bought our basic membership or standard, it was 50. If they bought the platinum membership, there's 200 that's tied to that. Then the next component I want to talk about here is the mall. We've got some agreements with quite a few different retailers, big box companies like, let's say, Walmart or Best Buy, where there's a percentage of the money that you spend gets to contribute back to this rewards account. And what happens is you get to reapply that on a dream trip. And so those percentages, they range anywhere from 1% to 20%. But as those percentages come back here, they convert that to points, and it goes back in here, and it allows you to do the same thing, is you can apply those towards lowering the price of your vacation. And the cool thing about it is when you go to the malls, or you go to our mall, what takes place is that's places you're buying already. At Best Buy, you shop there right now. Right now, you get 0 towards your next vacation. You potentially could go shop there, and you could get credit towards your next vacation at these people that are, or these companies that are part of our mall component. Now, the last component I'm not going to spend a lot of time on is an app. We're in the process of launching this right now, but this is loaded with earned vacation kinds of components. And, as these roll out, we'll give more details specifically on that. I just want to point that out, that those are available. The fifth point is our booking engine. The booking engine is basically like an Expedia, Orbitz, or Travelocity kind of booking engine. The thing that's different, though, is two components. One component is we have this thing called Rate Shrinker. Rate Shrinker is a technology that when you book air or hotel, what happens is we look at that as the price drops. If it does drop, we'll refund the money back. Goes right back on your credit card. So you can book it once. You don't have to sit there and keep looking over and over and over. Just have confidence you can go book. But the other component is we got a rewards component that if you have a customer of yours, a friend of yours that goes to your website and they book on there, what happens is instead of commissions coming back, we convert that to rewards, and it goes back in here that allows you to do the same thing as you can apply that towards your next vacation. So those are the 5 points. I think the point on this is just to help people understand that we've got this rewards account. That rewards account not only can get you a great deal on a vacation, but it can lower the price dramatically on things that you would normally do anyways in life. Okay, now that we've got this wrapped up here on this piece or these 2 pages, what got us to this page was hopefully the question that got asked on the first page over here is how do you get those prices? What normally takes place and happens next is when you know somebody's got interest after you went through this is they go, what's in that gold package? Because we talked about it. Or maybe you talked about platinum or standard, it doesn't matter. But the question that always comes up is what's in that particular package? And so when we flip the page, it turns over just like this. And now what we have is where you can specifically go through the 3 different, the standard, gold, or platinum, and whichever one they're interested in. I'm not going to take the time to go through each bullet point on here because this is really driven by the potential customer that's looking at this on what's going to fit them the best, and they're going to ask those questions that tied to that. And at this point, there's lots of them that just say, I'll just take that gold package and we're done. All right. But what generally also takes place in some of the scenarios is people are looking at this and then they ask the question, they go, well, can you make money at this? Or they might ask the question, so are you making money at this? Or how do you make money? Something that's tied to something that would be towards any kind of compensation. Now, if they're not interested in any part of that, they won't even go there and we won't go past that other than, all right, they want the gold product. Let's just take care of getting them registered with that and we'll get them all set up where now they got their membership and we're good to go and we can be done. But if they do ask the question, all right, how do we make profit or how do we make money with this? Then what happens is now we're going to simply go to the next page, which this folds like this and it goes like this. And now we have a blank sheet here to go walk through specifically of how this works. Now, keep in mind, most of the time here, I go through very few details because most of the time the way this is being used is somebody shares the information with somebody and now they're going to invite them to a travel party that's at somebody's house. It might be to a restaurant, it might be to a hotel meeting. And so the way this tool is being used is all of a sudden I can meet with one of my close friends, I can give them a few minutes information, they have enough now to say I want more information, they come to the next event that you invite them to. Now, some of the people that are more experienced, they might decide to go ahead and go through this part. But this is completely optional. I've got lots of people that when we tested this, they didn't even go through any part of this. They just simply used that as the tool to get them to come see additional information. Okay, the last page here that we'll talk about is how somebody can become a representative. They've asked me the question at this point to say, is it possible you can make income with this? And so I'm going to walk through this in a real basic format. And so the way I do that is simply to start with, first of all, I tell them to become a representative costs $100 and it costs $11 a month. This gives you the opportunity to market and sell either the standard, gold, or platinum membership and earn commissions on that. You get a back office. You also get some marketing websites that help you do that. But the real basic part of this is I'm going to draw a little picture like this, and I'm going to talk about that there's 2 buckets of business, and these 2 buckets of business, the way this works is As members are added into those buckets, this is how you get paid. It creates dollar volume based on the membership when somebody joins. And so there are some incomes that are earned based on just developing one bucket of business, but if you want to advance and accelerate your income, you're going to have to develop two. And so as those people join as members, they're credited into each one of these two buckets of business. And what takes place is, what I really want to show you is when you have X number of memberships in each of the two buckets, it yields a certain amount of income. We have an income disclosure statement. That income disclosure statement shows specifically what the averages were at different rank levels, and what I'm going to simply show them is about how many people it takes to approximately get to those rank levels. And so the first one is when there's 30 in each of the two buckets. It's going to generate about $600 of revenue on a monthly basis according to the disclosure statement. When there's 100 in each of the two buckets, it generates about $1,800 in revenue on a monthly basis. When there's 200 in each of the two buckets, it generates about $4,000 worth of revenue. When there's 500 in each of those two buckets of business, it generates about $10,000 worth of business. When there's 1,000 in each of the two buckets of business, it generates about $20,000. When there's 2,000 in each bucket, it'll generate about $35,000 of revenue per month. So at this point, this is about all I go through. There's not really any reason to go into more details. It gives them an approximation. Sometimes they ask some questions at this point, say, so do I have to put all 30 of those in each of those two teams? I said, no, you could, but the scenario could be that you add 10 on each one, and some of those people would end up adding some other friends that would join to be part of the club. And so it's not only the people that you add, it could be ones that are added from the referrals or from the people that they know. So at this point, I'm pretty well done with this. They might ask some questions. And at this point, we're just going to let the rest of the conversation or the presentation go based on the questions that are asked. Okay, just some final points that I want to make real quick is many times the way this is being used is we got a brand new person that starts. The first thing we want them to do is schedule their launch event or their travel party, whichever you're calling it, at their house. And so the best way to get those people to come to those events is they have some information ahead of time. Because a lot of times when they get invited, it's hard to invite somebody that doesn't know why they're coming. The purpose of this does that. So at the end of this, I want you to think about this tool specifically not as the tool that always puts them in. It's to get them to the next place. And so when this is over, you've given them 15 minutes of information. That 15 minutes of info is enough for them to say, I'm going to come get more information, which could be at your travel party. It might be at a hotel meeting. It might be at a restaurant. There's any number of ways that that could be taking place. And so this is kind of an intermediate tool. The more experienced person, obviously, they could go through enough info here where somebody says, okay, I got enough info, I want to start. I watched that happen as we tested this. We saw that take place and happen. But we also saw it happen where we had lots and lots of people that started showing up for a second look. And so this allows that opportunity to happen. So I hope this information helps you guys. It's a great tool. Most importantly, just get out there and go try it and use it over and over and over and over. You'll find out how well it works for you. Hey guys, you just have seen us go through this. There's a couple points that I want to make for you real quick just as we wrap this up. First of all, you got to go use this thing. You know, it didn't work right away for me. This concept of what I'm sharing with you, I've been doing for several years. We finally put it on paper. And so just understand you're going to have to do it multiple times until you get comfortable doing it. The second thing is just don't hand this to somebody. All right, they're going to take it, they're going to pull it apart. The flow of how this works is based on how it folds. That would be really, really important to understand. And the last thing I'd tell you is the simplicity. All right, I believe it's so simple that a new person could take this home, they could share it with their friend or their spouse, and they could understand what's going on. And more importantly, if they decide they want to be involved as part of our club and they want to share the membership with somebody else, this is a tool they can absolutely use, and it can happen very quickly for them. So enjoy, God bless, we'll see you real soon.